Hi guys, good night, and I'm sorry to keep you guys waiting for so long. I just suck at being on time. So, um, I actually just wanted to do kind of something spontaneous. I just felt like sharing a few things, and initially, I wanted to do that about spirit aspects, as I said in the description and in the title, but I don't know. Some things have come up, and I thought it would be a good idea to maybe explain a few things on blood offerings and how that works and why exactly a spirit would ask for that. Um, this is also something maybe for people who are just getting into spirituality, into the occult community, occultism, whatever path um, you're following. um, I think to some the idea of a blood sacrifice or a blood offering can be a bit off-putting. Maybe people are a bit worried about it, and maybe this can help. Just getting over that and help clarify a few things. Hey Jennifer, and hi Dice Controller, Mrs. Morticia. So yeah, I wanted to. I think I'm gonna do the thing about the spirit aspects later on, or maybe like in another video. I think because it deserves its own. It kind of deserves its own video. I think. So I was just going to demonstrate um, first like how easy it can be to make a blood sacrifice or make a small blood offering, because a lot of people um, confuse a blood offering with having to give large amounts of blood. It's really not about that. It could be in some cases that so in some cases, depending on what you're doing, a quantity could make a could be important, but most of the time it really isn't much about that, and it also isn't really about pain. It's not about you having to suffer, because that's not generally not what a spirit wants. They don't want you to suffer. So so that is something I think 2 years ago or something like that. I asked like, why? What does a spirit do with blood? How is it beneficial to them, and why do they ask for that? So I had a dream, and usually for me, when a spirit speaks through a dream, it's that's when I hear them very very clearly. They're able to because they're able to use like everything, like visualize and explain, and so basically I was shown like some sort of documentary on how they use blood, and I will explain that to you guys shortly, or I will try to pass on that knowledge, like pass on what Lucifer told me about that, like in the documentary. Hey Anassa. Hey Temple of Her. It's good to see you guys. So I'm going to just start by actually making a few blood offerings to the spirits who are um, very prominent in my life, and I just saw that I forgot something. I promised King Paimon a beer, and I forgot to get that, so I'll be back in a few seconds. Just gonna get that beer. Meanwhile, you can just, I don't know, watch that table. Watch my makeshift altar, see if something happens. And I'm sorry, I'm just dressed in sweatpants, and I don't know, I was basically getting ready for bed, so you get to see me in my pajamas, sort of. Not really, but still, almost. Oh, something else. And I need to open that bottle with something, of course. Right. Ooh. So, oh, dice controller, you lost the master amulet? Wow. Oh shit. I'm so sorry to hear that. That's, yeah. That's messed up. Well, I'm sure that, at least the magical part of it, whatever, isn't entirely lost. I mean, you have been carrying it with you, but yeah, it still sucks. Yeah, definitely. So I hope you can get it back. So here is the beer for King Paimon that I promised him, because he was actually going to be part of the video I intended on doing first. So I figured, if he's expecting a beer, he's going to get a beer. Exactly, Jennifer. Yeah, I don't know, these rituals is you just get some sort of in some other state of being, but for me it's just, yeah, maybe there's something to it, forgetting things. So I'm sure most of the people who are now watching, at least in the chat, they know how I don't call it sacrifice much, because it's not like I'm doing something painful or doing some. You know what is a sacrifice? Actually, that beer, that's a sacrifice, because I wanted that for myself. I would love to have that beer for myself, but I'm giving it to King Paimon, so that is a sacrifice because I'm giving it up. I forgot something. Please explain any blooding of the Master Key Amulet and how to use it to magnify power. I think that question might be covered by what I'm about to tell you. I'm just about to explain tell you about the dream that I had, and I think that would cover your question too. But I just want to kind of at least invite Lucifer here, because whenever I'm going to talk about a spirit or something that a spirit told me, I'd like to have them present, like part of the show, sort of. So anyway, in case anyone who is new to this is watching and you're worried about how to give a blood offering, I can tell you it's this simple. You get these little lancets. You can buy them from a drugstore. They are usually sold for people with diabetes or people who need to draw blood on a regular basis. So it's very easy. And as you can see, it has this tiny little needle-like thingy on it. These are sterile, so it's not dangerous or anything. And what you then do is you just pick a part of your hand. For me, especially for me, this is a very good solution because I have low blood pressure. So for me, it's very hard to bleed, to really get a lot of blood out. So, and with these things, you bleed pretty well. So, next up, I will demonstrate. Like, going to show. Wait. Oh, how do I do this? Like in front of the camera, I have to twist my hand a little. So I'm gonna rename the title of this video too later on. So, like that, you just, it's just a little pinch and nothing more. So I just have to, yeah, I have to like watch it because it's so small. I have to aim a little, and I aim a little like at the cushiony parts, so not at the bone, and then I just, there it starts. There you go. It's easy. It's just one drop of blood. Sometimes I like to do an extra one because, like I said, I have that low blood pressure, so sometimes I have to do it again, or I have to make sure that sometimes, like, I have to move my hand a little so there's a little blood flow, and I might just have to do that. Sometimes just have to wiggle, like, I don't know why exactly that is, but that's how that is. So I will also demonstrate how exactly, like a few ways to give that blood. One of them is just simply, this is a sigil of Lucifer that I use a lot for this. It's covered in all sorts of things. So this is just a few drops on his sigil. It's easy like that. No pain, nothing. Just a pinch. And this is basically enough, just a few drops. And I make sure that it's on the lines of the sigil, just to make it work even better, basically. So there you go. Might have to do another one. I'm going to give another one to King Paimon now. I'm just giving blood to basically the spirits who are closest to me right now. It's just because it's spontaneous and I didn't want to leave anyone out. So don't want any. Yeah. I mean, and why not? Because it really is this easy and they really do love it. Another way that I like to give it is by adding it to an offering, like in this case, I'm just putting a few drops in the beer. I have to, yeah, just like that, making it. I call it like a spiked beer offering, something like that. There's a little extra in it. And then next for Azazel, I usually put it on something that is on his altar that I cannot, like, it's private, like, so I cannot really show that here on video. I'll just put it on his sigil for now. There, this sigil hadn't been used yet, so you can see that's how easy it is. And you can see how long, how this goes a long way too, just these few drops of blood. I mean, I've already given it to 3 spirits now. And this one will be for Belial. That's another example of where I put the blood on an object. This shell it's his shell basically, and there's generally a lot of symbolism behind that, and it's very closely connected to him. I sometimes even use that shell, like I stuff little notes in there, like questions or things that I would want to ask of him. So I put the notes like inside the shell sometimes. I might have to do just a little more for him. He deserves it. Basically, this shell is actually kind of covered in dried up blood because I've used it so many times. So yeah, there's that. Right. I will get to the chat section soon, and then I'll start explaining some things. I just kind of want to spread it evenly, like not. I don't like the idea of leaving any spirits out, so, or getting anyone less. So there you go. I have a few necklaces that are also on that shell that are connected to Belial, so it's really like a tiny little altar on its own. I think it should be good enough for now. Especially because I'm not actually doing any magical working, it's really just a gift for now. So let me see. Alright, you do it in your left thumb. Yeah, I think everyone has. I think that's something you have to find for yourself what works best. I'm actually kind of surprised my dog didn't decide to join in today. I mean, he's just sleeping over there. He's probably way too tired. So, yeah, let's get to the point. So, when I asked Lucifer, or I actually just asked the question in general before I went to sleep, and Lucifer decided to answer. So, it actually came in it was a very graphic dream actually, but I'm going to spare those details, but what it came down to is that spirits are able to extract certain juices almost from the blood. I would say it's plasma combined with white blood cells, and they are able to not only extract it but then make it go through some process. And he literally said that they can make glue out of it, which makes, I guess it makes sense in a way. So what they get out of it, what he literally explained is he showed me a cardboard milk package, like a drink. Something fell out of Belial's shell, so I'm sorry. But yeah, you know, like a cardboard packaging, and he showed it to me like from the side, and you see all the layers. And he said those layers of cardboard can be compared to layers of reality, layers of being, and dimensions of dimensions, and layers of consciousness. And that with that blood, with what they can extract from the blood, it can act as a glue between these layers and sort of press them together. And so in a way, blood is a portal, and it's an anchor, and something that they can hold on to, and it's something that will help them manifest themselves. And it will help them, well, not only help them manifest themselves, but it will also help them manifest things for you, and it will also yeah, it works as a glue from things that exist in another reality, in another layer of in another layer of being, in another layer of consciousness, and to align these layers and to connect them. That's basically it. And transfer, yeah, to transfer what is currently in another layer or in another dimension, to help that transfer to this layer where we are, or exactly the layer where we want that to be. So this can help us, of course. It can be for our personal good use, like, you know, getting our magic manifested. Um, but so it can also be of use to the spirit themselves, because they will just store that, you know, for personal use. So it's very at that with that it's also very versatile. So that's why it's just very useful for a spirit to have that. And yeah, they can do so many things with that. They can bring. That's also part of why spirits might come in a lot stronger after you've given them blood, because they're using that. They're using that glue, that entrance, that like it's a portal and a magnet, and yeah, so many things at the same time. So they're able to use that anchor. I'm also getting some sort of weird, you know, this just in, you know. I had something else that King Paimon told me about how manifestation works from a being that is outside the time and space continuum. How they know exactly at which point they at which point in our time that we're calling them on. Like, okay, I'm kind of searching for words. Like, this is not subject to talk about, especially in. But I mean, English is still a foreign language for me, so it's not easy to talk about that or to find the correct words. So yeah, King Paimon made me that it's always a bit of a gamble, a bit of a bet, that he literally said, like, okay, if I want to be here at 10 a.m., he said he would look for certain things that usually happen around that time. It's very weird, like, and then sort of go for that, and usually it's pretty much accurate, give or take a few minutes. And like he explained it like knowing that some bakery would have fresh baked cakes at 10 a.m. So he knows that when that bakery puts the fresh baked cakes out, it's 10 a.m. and that's when he has to be there. That's something like that. And why am I mentioning this is because I'm just now just intuitively just getting the idea that giving a blood offering helps them, like, set the alarm clock or give them a pointer, like, hey, here it is, this that's the ritual you share with that person, or that here, yeah, just gives them a little heads up sometimes. So that's just one of the many ways that how blood is actually a tool. Not to mention, of course, if you give your own blood, it will also make it easier to connect to you. There, I mean, there's of course so much more in that blood than just that glue. So I don't know if anyone has any questions about what I just tried. I hope it makes sense. I hope it's so that's uh, to get back to dice controller. So what did he say again? Please explain any blooding of the master key amulet and how to use it to magnify power. So exactly, um, if you blood on the master key amulet, it will literally help bring in the forces that are tied to that master key and, and glue them, like put them together, like glue them to this reality, so to say. Give them an anchor, give them something to hold on to, like, and help them manifest. Um, and it will also help you bring in what you want, whatever it is that you want from that amulet. It's yes, so your blood is going to. It's like whatever is waiting there on the other side of that amulet. Kind of, it's like your blood will help. Sort of like, hey, here I am, and just sort of grab the hand of whatever is waiting there and just pull it like, hey, here's where you gotta be, and just give them a little, make it easier for them. And it's not like, I mean, a lot of these spirits are definitely strong enough to do things without your blood, but it's it's nice to give something, and that's just what you do. And of course, there are many other sorts of offerings they may ask for, but uh, this is my explanation of why blood is always good. It's like, pretty much can't really go wrong with that. However, only I would suggest that you only give it to a spirit that you trust, um, or use it for your own purpose. Like, but other than that, if you trust that being, it's always a good gift. So so I read what I intended to say. I'll just wait for the chat in case you guys have any more questions about this. Um, yeah, I'll just wait. And if not, I'm just going to call it a day or night, maybe. So yeah, this explains, how blood really, like blood donations or blood offerings, really have nothing to do with pain or sacrifice. Or, I mean, of course, there are always individual cases, but in general, it really is about the blood itself, about the substance, what is in that blood. So it doesn't have to work. Like, that's useless. And you can give blood to demons, to angels, to any sort of being. It's not. It has nothing to do with darkness per se. It's a life force, so it's really not like evil stuff or anything like that. So I don't think anyone has any questions or comments. So with that being said, I think I explained it all, and if I forgot something, I will just get back to that some other time, I guess. Um, yeah, if you're watching this later on and have any questions or comments, feel free to ask them in the comment section. And yeah, otherwise I'm going to get some rest because it's insanely late over here. So thanks everyone for watching, and I hope you have a good night and a good weekend.